American pharmaceutical company Moderna says its vaccine candidate is nearly 95% effective in preventing the coronavirus. It comes 1 week after Pfizer announced its 90% effective COVID-19 vaccine trial. In the wake of the news, the Dow rose 470 points to close at a record high. But President-elect Joe Biden says it still could be months before either vaccine is made available to the public. CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. Jon LaPook has the latest.
The initial results were striking for Dr. Stephen Hoge, Moderna's president.
It took my breath away for a minute. I'm sure I was grinning ear to ear.
An independent review found out of 95 cases of symptomatic COVID, only 5 participants received the vaccine, sending a strong signal for its effectiveness. Another important finding, the vaccine prevented severe disease. Of 11 cases, none were in the vaccine group.
It was really, really impressive, quite impressive.
Dr. Anthony Fauci's team at the NIH collaborated with Moderna to develop the vaccine. Am I seeing the Tony Fauci equivalent of jumping up and down in excitement?
That's not my style, John, but I got to tell you, close to 95% efficacy in a vaccine for a respiratory virus like this, and as a new virus, is really quite an accomplishment.
The news comes a week after drug maker Pfizer said its vaccine candidate was more than 90% effective. The coronavirus uses a spike protein to attack cells. Both the Moderna and Pfizer 2-dose vaccines contain genetic information called messenger RNA, which instructs cells to produce harmless versions of that spike protein, triggering an immune response to the virus.
But as soon as it's approved for use by FDA, the trucks will roll with vaccine in hours, and that will continue round the clock.
One distribution advantage, Moderna's vaccine can be stored for up to 30 days in a regular refrigerator. Pfizer's vaccine requires ultra-cold storage. Moderna is part of the government's Operation Warp Speed and could deliver 20 million doses by the end of the year, ramping up to 40 to 50 million a month in 2021. Michael Rouse, who participated in the Moderna trial, says a vaccine is key to ending the pandemic.
It's so important that we all get this vaccine. It's the only way we can control this virus. The virus is not going away.
When are most Americans going to get the vaccine? The rollout is expected to be phased, with first responders and the most vulnerable getting it first, probably by the end of the year. Now, next year in 2021, there are going to be tens of millions of doses of the vaccine available each month, and that is going to be gradually rolled out across the year. By April, we expect that a good proportion of Americans will have gotten that first dose. Now, I know this is a tough time. People have COVID fatigue, and people are thinking it's just so devastating. How are we going to ever get this under control? And it is a terrible time right now, but do not lose hope, because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. We're still in the tunnel, but we can see the light with this vaccine. So we need to flatten the curve. Elaine, do you remember that term? Flatten that curve with all the measures we've talked about. You know what they are, but especially wear a mask. And you have to wear a mask indoors, even if you're farther than 6 feet apart from somebody, because this virus can accumulate in the air over time, and you can be infected across a room. We need to wash our hands. We need to do physical distancing. Outdoors is safer than indoors, and try to avoid crowds. We do all those things. We try to flatten the curve so that as the vaccine starts to roll out to more and more Americans, we can not only just flatten that curve, but actually bend the curve and gradually start to get this pandemic under control. Elaine?
All right, flatten the curve. I do remember. Dr. Jon LaPook, thank you.